Yes. I know what that sound means. Time for In the Paddock F1. Greeny and Cheese. No race this week, but that means it's time for it. In the News.
In the News.
We are caffeinated. We are medicated. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. No matter if you're on your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening on the pod. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe, like button. Help us out here. We appreciate it. Very much so. But it's in the news. We got some good things to talk about this week, I think, personally.
Interesting news. It's
Rainy,
like
but sir,
the news this week was catered to your palate, sir, to your appetite, sir. And we'll get into all of that. Not all of it, Cheese, is up your alley. A little sugar and a little salt. We'll get into all of that. Thank you all for checking in. Thank you all for listening. As we said, we get more and more listeners every single week. So thank you for all those who've been listening for years and all of those brand new joining the show. Welcome. And thank you so much. Cheese. What you got, homeboy?
If you hold and see, the FIA put out some 2027 engine update rule changes. Since the panic button, the big red panic button, is on full stamp. They are popping that thing, and it's nonstop. It is nonstop. But here we go. We're going to go to a 60-40 split now, apparently. So 60% will be coming from the combustion engine, 40% from the battery. We're going to go bigger recharge. So instead of the 350 max, I think it is currently, somewhere maybe between 400 to 500 recharge rate. So to keep increasing the power amount. And maybe in a bigger battery, which I'm not happy to hear, because that adds more weight, and we want the cars to get lighter, to be more nimble and more fun. But I do like the 60-40 instead of the 50-50, I'll tell you that. It's about damn time. I mean, this is where he probably should have went to start with. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, sir. But
I got plenty of thought. We're 4 freaking races in. Okay. And we're already changing things. They spent billions of dollars on these upgrades, and now you're backing off. You spent years on this model. If this, I don't even know how to explain it from a competency standpoint. If any other organization, if you are a business person and you spent half a decade on a project that immediately fell on its face, which does happen, it happens, right? In every angle of the business world, but and it's always an embarrassment, just like it is here. Obviously, we'll get a lot into the release this week about the Q1 massive surge, 53% surge in Liberty Media, basically printing money in Q1. Obviously, Q2 was probably a little rougher with the canceled races. We'll get into all that next week in another special In the News episode. But man, just opening the oven and just taking a shovel, filling it up with cash, and just throwing it in the furnace. And starting all over again. I don't know.
I said it a year ago or whatever. I agreed with when the rules came out for this madness. I agreed with what Max had said. It's going to be an absolute shit show. The engine's a joke. It's a total freaking joke. Absolute joke. I mean, you can't go 50-50. They're asking for more power. The engine just can't have enough power. I mean, if they didn't make changes for things, it's going to be like, you might as well watch F2 for more excitement than that. I mean, Christ, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. The cars are begging for power because the battery and everything's not enough. There's not enough recharge rate. They should have never have gone to the 50-50 split, and they should have went to a V8. with sustainable fuel, which is what they're going to do anyway when the next engine changes.
Oh, we'll get to that. Happy, joy, which you got coming.
I mean, it's the way they should have went. The number one thing F1 fans miss is the roar of a real F1 engine from back with the V8 and the V10s. That's what people miss. I mean, going to a 60-40s, leaving it in the 50-50, they're trying to give the things more power. Thank God. Because it's kind of ridiculous. And I think it might even make it, hopefully that it's not, push-button Mario Kart racing. And that's all it really is right now. You get behind somebody, and then you pass them. And then the next lap, that guy passes you back because they have the boost advantage. Like, madness. So it's like playing Mario Kart.
You might as well have banana peels, okay? You might as well have, your arsenal of banana peels and turtle shells and just chuck them out the window of the car through the halo, because that's what it's been looking like this year. We're one step away from throwing banana peels at each other, okay? It's absolutely ridiculous. The season's been, as you've mentioned many times, even though FIA has been cashing in, Liberty Media has been cashing in for sure in this early season, at least in the Q1. Viewership is down in many parts of the world, up to 50% in certain parts of Europe, as you've mentioned a few times over the last few episodes. But we'll see, man. I only time will tell, and I don't know if 2026 is just going to be a total washout at this point, and we're just going to play out the string here. And that's probably what it's going to be. You're going to get to the tracks. You're going to run the races that are on the calendar. You're going to play your schedule and figure it out next season. And you just shoveled $1 billion into a furnace. So that's all I got to say about that.
That's absolutely fair. I mean, it's full panic mode. That's what it is. Full panic mode. We're going
absolute full panic mode.
F1's never made changes. F1's never changed the regulations during a season once before this year, and they did that crap after 3 goddamn races. They were in full panic mode because of how awful shit is. So there you go. They screwed the pooch, and they freaking know it. And they're throwing anything they can at the wall and hoping it goddamn sticks.
Tinfoil hat time. Are you ready? Did these regulation changes potentially help one specific team or one specific engine manufacturer? Go.
I don't know. I mean, it did bring in, more constructors, with GM, Audi, Volkswagen, Ford coming back, Honda coming back, for, being, power unit suppliers. So it brought people in, but was it the right decision? Abso-freaking-lutely not. Otherwise, they wouldn't be hitting a panic button this goddamn quick. It's a disaster.
Absolutely.
They know it. They freaking know it. Period.
Listen, like I said, we'll see what happens. I think this is somewhat related, potentially, if I'm going to throw my tinfoil hat on, to like you mentioned, Audi, Cadillac, a smoother landing or a smoother way to get them into the sport and be competitive quicker. This might have been a backfire from that. The whole backfiring of kind of trying to evening the playing field. It seems like this was well-intentioned, but just a massive backfire in your face. And whether F1 fans will get used to it is a big question mark. We know a lot of the fans that are watching now came in 5 years ago from the Drive to Survive era. I don't know if there's been, or there really has not been anything that impactful. Maybe the F1 movie has been impactful since then, but I don't know if you picked up how many new fans of the sport you picked up from the
sure
movie.
It helps. I'm sure
it helped. But what's the next milestone going to be for F1 to keep new fans injected if the Drive to Survive fans are going to start trickling off because the product that they initially signed on for is not the product they're getting only a few years later.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to throw a big shout out to all of our listeners all around the world. It's been absolutely amazing. As I said, we're going to get in a moment to a little Ferrari talk. Maybe throw a little salt in your weekend.
We got something else before that, sir.
Oh, I apologize. We do have something else before that. But I want to shout out Sydney, New South Wales, Morgantown, West Virginia, Arnhem, Gelderland, Norfolk in the UK, Seoul, South Korea, a couple of South Korean, I'm not going to butcher the names, but I'll work on it for next time. North Bend, Washington, Johannesburg, South Africa, Springfield, Massachusetts, so many other people from listening from all around the world, and hundreds and if not thousands of listeners each month. We thank you all, and I don't want to forget about you guys, because you're the ones that make this show happen every single episode and every single week. So thank you for sticking around. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, jump on the YouTube. We are going to relaunch all of our social media here because people have been begging for it, as we are now doubling and tripling our audience over the last few months here. So I want to be able to reach out to all of people that are listening for all these countries around the world and give you a little more entertainment, a little more fire, and a little more of that high-octane energy that we bring each and every week. Speaking of which, Cheese, are we going to be mixing up the grid here? Are these tinfoil hat rumors? Or are these legit? I will turn it over to you, sir, as we got some potential Max Verstappen news.
Yes. Is Max Verstappen eyeing George's seat at Mercedes? That's a spicy meatball. That's a spicy meatball. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. It sounds pretty darn good. I mean, Toto's a big Max fan, as we all know. I think George only signed what? He only signed like a year deal or something? Mm-hmm. So his seat is open after the season if they don't want to re-sign him. It's a spicy meatball. The Mercedes is a damn good car. It's way better than the Red Bull. And I think it's in Max's contract that if he doesn't have a car that can challenge for the world title, he can basically exit the contract. So,
listen, two things here of major glaring things here, especially with George Russell. Number one, Kimi Antonelli just won 3 races in a row. Okay, George, George is supposed to be the number one driver. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something here. But is George Russell the number one driver for Mercedes?
Going into the season, absolutely.
Doesn't look like it right now.
No.
That's for damn sure. It looks like Kimi Antonelli's the number one driver. So right there, if I'm looking at George Russell and the amount of money he's going to want to make for being the driver he is and having the fan base he does, we cannot discount that. But he is the number 2 driver right now for Merc. And there's no one that can deny that.
He was going into the season, he was the favorite to win the world title.
Mm-hmm.
And be the one to dominate the season. And it's his teammate doing it. So, can we maybe say that he buckled a bit under the pressure? And maybe that's why, one, Toto's always liked Max Verstappen and thought about putting him wanting him to put him in a Mercedes. 2, does Toto see George buckling a bit under the pressure to Kimi? And being the favorite coming into the season and having that pressure on your shoulders, is that something Toto's looking at and saying, well, maybe he doesn't have the goods to bring home the world title? So would you maybe want to go out and get a Max Verstappen to take over that seat?
if you're going to be spending $50 to $60 million a year on a driver, which I believe that's probably the price range that someone like George Russell is going to be asking for, maybe more. I don't know what Leclerc's contract was with Ferrari, but it's probably going to be something within that similar range, I believe, if not even more potentially, based on but I would say around the same. Would you agree?
Probably, yeah.
It's going to be in that Leclerc range. That's a lot of schnol, dude. That's a big freaking can of soup there. That if you're going to do it, are you going to give it to a guy that's getting beaten out by a teenager? Now again, we go back to just last year where Oscar Piastri, and we're saying the same thing about Lando Norris, who ends up, at the top of the heap at the end. So, and Oscar Piastri was in May was winning the title, and it did not happen. He came in third, if we all recall. Could the same thing happen to Kimi? Can the pressure get to him down the stretch, and can George show up? We know George has pretty good falls. He's won some pretty big races with a lesser Merc over the last couple of years, winning Vegas a couple of years ago, winning a couple of those fall races where Merc has definitely not been the best car, and now they are. So he could pull it out in the fall for sure. I don't want to discount him at all. But right now, if you're looking at next year, which by summer break, you're going to be looking at real possibilities of where Max Verstappen may or may not be going next year, or where George Russell may or may not be going next year. That's going to be a real possibility within the next few months.
Oh, it's going to be fun to see that. To see that play out. Who's going to take that seat? If they're going to be signed George, if they're going to go take a play at Max. I mean, that's going to be something to watch during for the silly season when we get there, for damn sure. That's going to be a fun one.
Damn sure. Speaking of fun, Cheese, we got one last segment coming up here, and we got a new one. I know we had it before, but we're going to bring back hot takes, because I need a fire take on this one as we conclude our In the News. Ferrari showed up to Miami with 11 upgrades and not much improvement, Cheese. You did not spit enough hot fire last week about this. I didn't put the screws to you. We spent most of the time talking about Kimi and his major accomplishments. So now I'm going to put the screws to you, because I need a hot fire take on this one. 11 upgrades for Ferrari. Do they have a shot, even at McLaren? Forget about Mercedes. Do they have a shot at chasing down McLaren at the end of the season?
All right, for one, they were the only team to bring upgrades. That's number one. Everybody else McLaren brought a lot of upgrades. But it all comes down to the power unit deficit. That's where it is. You can put the upgrades in the car to improve it, but if you don't have the power compared to the Mercedes, you're going nowhere. They know this. They're working on a new engine to try and compare it to the Merc. We're not going to see it till probably mid-season, so do they have a chance? Probably not. And I drank the goddamn Kool-Aid.
Again.
I said I wasn't going to, but I goddamn did it. And I drank the Kool-Aid, come out of Maranello. The car's going to be a rocket. We're going to take it to them. Are still burning up the tires, so they screwed that still. I mean, the race pace was better the first couple. The race pace was a little better before the upgrades, too. So that was disappointing. I'm a little disgusted because I drank that goddamn Kool-Aid. But they just don't have the power to compare. And if you don't have the power, yeah, your Macarena wing can, increase your some miles of, kph or miles per hour down the straights, but somebody else got more juju in the back there, then you're just not going to do it. And we'll see if this engine, if they develop it, is one going to compare to the Mercedes, and two, what the reliability is going to be. because they could bring something out there that could have the power, but it could blow up.
Yeah, listen,
So
we're going to bring...
I don't think what I thought going into the season, just take the paper, roll it up, and throw it in the trash. Because none of that crap's going to happen. None of it. They're not going to challenge for the Constructors. They're not going to challenge for the world title. Period. It's over. It's over. Getting podiums, that's all you can hope for. Finishing like third. That's where you're at. That's where you're at. Disgusting.
Spending the most cash, got the most loyal fans, and you get garbage.
Every freaking year. And I drink the Kool-Aid every goddamn year coming out of Maranello. We got the car this year. We got it. Ferrari's going to challenge. We're back. And every year, it's full disappointment.
Listen, I'm sure we can get...
Maybe Fred Vasseur has to go. I mean... I don't know anymore. I'm distraught.
Seems to me there's some kind of fundamental just culture breakdown at Maranello. It seems to me that there's a breakdown of culture.
They do things the same way that they do things. And maybe you got to change. Maybe you got to bring somebody in like Christian Horner or something that'll just change everything.
That would be
not
sexy.
do it not do it that way. I mean, Lewis has been there. He's tried to change things a bit, and they didn't like it. Maybe you should listen to somebody who just won freaking 7 world titles. Not Michael Schumacher 20 freaking years ago. You haven't done really crap since. You got 1 world title in there. Maybe you got to change. Get with the times.
Well, listen, I'm sure we're going to be bringing a lot more fury from the Tifosi like yourself next week as well, because we got another In the News segment coming up. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about Liberty Media's money printer and how, like we mentioned here, we're going to get into that a little more, how F1 is making unbelievable profits, even with these cars. Even with everything going on, their money keeps going. They're printing money, and they're also kind of screwing over the fans with their unbelievable prices of a lot of things, from the Apple deal to a lot of other areas. So we're going to get a little deeper into that as we have another week off here. Cheese, say what you got to say, brother.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. And as always, stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.